G'day guys, I'm Julesy, out in the Western Australian desert. This morning we packed up camp and left Leonora and headed south for Kalgoorlie. Yesterday we were out at Mount Morgan, which is also very close to Mount Margaret, which were ancient volcanoes. There's big gold mining operations there happening. I was out on a flat, quartz flat, and just waving the metal detector back and forth, just nice and slowly, as you do. And when I went from right to left, I just waved the metal detector straight over the head of a brown snake, just laying there out in the quartz. He was only about 1.5 feet long, and was olive in colour. He didn't even move. He just wanted to make out he wasn't there. So I just stepped back and said to my partner, grab the dogs, go back the other way. We went around the truck and we just moved position. Today we packed up and, as I said, and headed off from Leonora and said goodbye to all the lovely folks we met there and their outback way of life, and headed south towards Kalgoorlie to a spot we'd been at earlier in the piece on our gold quest. And there's a lot of quartz here, and we decided we'd come down and do a little bit of fossicking for gemstones. So that's we've been out today doing a little bit. This place throughout Western Australia was all volcanised between 2.5 and 4 million years ago. There were volcanoes here everywhere. That's where the gold comes from. That's where the quartz comes from. That's where you get the green rock. The green rock, the quartz, the gold was in the quartz. There's the green rock, and you'll find that there's black rock everywhere, and that black rock is associated with gold. Where you find that black rock, you find gold. So we decided that we'd get a few different types of gemstones. Here we found jasper, rose quartz, smoky quartz, just the normal white quartz, which is miles of that. What else did we find? The green rock, black rock, rose quartz. I said rose quartz, citrine, which is a yellowy rock. And so here's some of the samples that we've collected. I'll just show you. And some of these are fascinating quartz rocks and stuff, you know. Some of that we believe is rose quartz, but it's not of great quality. There's lots of you know, small gemstones, you know, little tiny crystal quartz, and that's the green rock that is associated with the gold, and that comes from deep underground, although it is also found in the surface. And as you can see up there, that's a stockpile from one of the mining companies that obviously that mine there is either underground or it's open cut. I don't know. I haven't gone up there to have a look. It's a mine, and you're not allowed then. Okay, some of these things like this. What we also discovered too is like that little beauty there. Is that there's also in this area basalt. And basalt, what happens is diamonds form in basalt, in pockets in basalt, and millions of years ago when it exploded and that, it blew the basalt all over the countryside as well as the quartz and everything, and the volcanoes collapsed, pushing everything out over the landscape. And when this occurred, the diamonds got spread out over the landscape as well. So you can actually find diamonds here, and I believe that little one that I just had then is a diamond wherever he is, and I don't know if you can see that. The sun's shining on my eyes, but anyway, I've got a few of those, and how you tell whether it's clear quartz or crystal quartz or a piece of glass, or if it's a diamond, is diamonds look like a piece of ice. If it looks like a piece of ice, it's a diamond. If it looks like a piece of glass, it's probably crystal quartz or a piece of glass. Simple as that. Now this is, I just wanted to show you around a bit of the vegetation here. You've got some beautiful shrubs. Not sure what they are, but I've noticed with a lot of these shrubs, they have nodules on them instead of leaves, and they feel like they're full of water. You've got some other shrubs here, which I don't know what they are, that have little tiny flowers on them. Not sure what they are, but they're obviously native to Australia. Some beautiful shrubs there with the yellow flowers. I did see over there before a particular variety of saltbush, and it is different to the one that we have over the east. Ours have a broader, flatter leaf. The saltbush here seems to have a thinner leaf, and it's probably doesn't grow as tall as the ones in Victoria and New South Wales. But nonetheless, it's saltbush. I pulled the leaves off, and that's a bush tucker. You can pull a heap of those leaves off. You can eat them like they are, put them in a salad, or you can put them in a stew. Beautiful. And that's where you get your little bit of a salt hit from. As you can see here, I'll try and turn this camera around. I'm just doing this myself at the moment. You've got some of these smaller shrubs, plants, with some absolutely beautiful flowers. They're sort of like fluffy, like cotton wool, with little tiny lilac-y, the purpley coloured centres in them. They're absolutely beautiful, and the landscape's covered, as well as all the quartz. I'll just take you down here and just give you a little bit of a look at where it's the quartz is a little bit more concentrated. But for this quartz to get here, this must have been a massive either explosion or whatever happened when these volcanoes either erupted or they collapsed. It's either pushed or blown the quartz and all the rocks and different types of material all over the countryside. It's just unbelievable. The quartz is just everywhere. And I'm in my glory here because I love gemstones, and to see so much quartz, like we don't see this over in Victoria and New South Wales, you do here. Over to my left, which I don't know if you can see, way out there across the flat, and that's facing east towards South Australia, you can see big white quartz flats that look like salt lakes, but it's actually quartz. And when you get out on it, it's red hot and as bright as a sand flat, a salt lake. It's just phenomenal. I was still trying to look for that little salt bush that I found earlier and ate a couple of leaves. But everything seems to grow small here. The trees, or the shrubs and trees and stuff, nothing seems to grow too big, as you can probably see. But it's a beautiful landscape. You can hear the odd bird. Not many emus over this way here where we are. I've seen the odd kangaroo. I know there's foxes. I'm not sure about whether there's dingoes here. Now that's not the salt bush, I don't think. I'll just have a little look. Yep. Beautiful. This is a saltbush. Nothing, doesn't even look like anything that we have over in the east, except for the fact that it's salty like normal saltbush. So it's a dwarfed variety. It's a different variety of saltbush altogether. It's obviously learnt to become drought resistant, and they grow small because they don't need a lot of water, and that's how they survive here. Otherwise they'd perish. But anyway, that's the saltbush, and that's a bush tucker, and it's beautiful, beautiful to eat. Oh, I love saltbush. And here you can see one of these other plants. I'll just spin that around, and this one's got spikes up its stems, but it's got a beautiful purpley flower on it. If you can turn that around like that, see, look at that, with the yellow centre, with this little like proboscis hanging out the front of it, and some other little plants here with little yellow flowers and stuff. It's just absolutely gorgeous. Have a look at this little bloke. Look at him. And as I said, like again, they all seem to have those little tiny nodules on them that are full of water, just like a pig face. Absolutely beautiful. And you got some of those little pinky coloured daisy looking plants growing there. Some more saltbush. It's really, really remarkable. It's been a wonderful trip. I've been in my glory. I love it over here. It's beautiful, but it's a lethal joint. It's very dangerous. Have I seen any water? No. Have I seen any rain? No. I've certainly seen where it's rained, that's for sure, and where you've got where the water's ran, you know, causing a wash, but there's no creeks. And if you call them a creek, they're only areas where the lowest areas where the water flows down when they do get a rain, whenever that is. And from what the locals have been telling me, you know, they don't get a lot of rain. And that's why I came prepared for this trip. I brought a snake bite kit I made up. Because out here, in a lot of places, you don't have any phone reception. Some of the places like where we are now, you do. But we've been at the spots where there's none. And if you get bitten by a snake, and you don't have a snake bite kit, and you don't know how to bandage your leg or arm up or whatever it is, you'll die. Simple as that. 3 or 4 minutes later, you'll be dead. So, before I came over on this trip, I didn't want to get stuck. And if you break down out here, in some of these areas, you certainly will perish if, particularly if you only get someone might come into that area once in a blue moon, or maybe not. So before I came over, I bought one of these beauties. It's a transponder or a beacon, emergency beacon. Got them in aeroplane, so on. All I got to do is flick that switch, that yellow, lift that little veil there and hit that button, and it goes straight to the satellite and straight to emergency services, and they'll find you within a metre of where you are. I've heard many stories when I was on the internet about people that had come out here, driven out into the desert, like way out there, right, to go camping and that, broke down, ran out of water, ran out of food, and had no chance at all. And that's the West Australian outback. It's beautiful. It's hardly any water, and you'll die out here. Anyway, what we're going to do tomorrow is we're going to head towards Norseman, do a bit more prospecting, and then work our way down to the Great Australian Bight. There's a spot there where the whales breed, and whether they're still there or not, I'm not sure, but we're going to camp right on the ocean and see if we can film some whales breaching the water. That is sort of something exciting, and it'll be nice to get near the coast again. But anyway, that's where we're at the moment, and as you can see, not back, like I was going to say something else, yeah, back in the old days, they would have come out in a horse cart, and that I seen this laying here under the tree, and I believe that's an old, I believe it's an old one of those dunny pot things that they had in the old days there, where the dunny man had come around. Oh, pick that up, looks like a diamond. Yeah, that looks like that. Look at that that looks like a diamond. See, it looks like a piece of ice, but that's a diamond. Right near the dunny. I can't remember what they called them, but the dunny man used to come around, and they'd had a lid. This is when they'd evolved after the pit toilets, and the dunny man would come around and he'd drop off a couple more of those, and he'd pick up your ones that were full, just that, you know, you'd have out in your outside dunny, and away he'd go again. That's made its way out here sometime a long time ago, and that's what's left of it, which I think is pretty interesting, pretty cool. And I just picked up this little, I don't know if you can see that. Oh, I always drop stuff. They should call me Dropsy. Yeah, that's looks like a little diamond. It I'll see. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, it looks like a bit of ice, and not that crystal ice, but frozen ice, I mean. Boom, boom. Anyway, that's where we're at, and I'll see you when I do my next video, as we head down towards Norseman in Western Australia on our Western Australian Gold Quest. I'm Julesy, and I'll see you later.